Right.
Thank you. So last lecture, I was trying to give you a quick demo on how to work on assignment number 2. I need to remind you that our objective in assignment number 2 is to learn how to create a topographic map. And if you go back to the assignment, you need to read the assignment carefully because the assignment will give you a lot of valuable information you need during the process of compiling your map. And I think so far we already did some reading on the assignment where, for example, this part here, it gives you the file format. Very important to import the points into Civil 3D. In addition to that, there is also here a description of the points. What do they mean? And also they help us to create something called the description key set. And also in the assignment, I kind of reminded you here that those are the skills and the things you need to know before you start solving and finishing your assignment. Okay, what else on the assignment? There are some stuff, like for example, here when it's where it says if you notice any inconsistency when combining the map, use your common sense. For example, this is something very, very common. You know, surveyors, sometimes they make mistake just like anyone. One of the very common mistake is giving or assigning a point a wrong description. So this is very, very frequent. And the way we are able to figure out that those are mistake, simply those, they will not make sense for you. For example, if you find, let's say, a tree in the middle of the sidewalk, so it looks like there is something there, or maybe a tree in the middle of the lake where you know that it doesn't, there's nothing there. So, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you need to use your common sense to figure out those problems. And what we typically do is we cloud them. So we cloud them and send a sketch for our surveyor for them to check on site. If that's correct, do you think that this was electrical post? I don't think so until you are able to finish your map. Now, there is parts here with, and I want you to look at the requirements before you submit your map. So there are some requirements here, which I'm going to read it at the very end of our exercise today. I'm going to skip the requirements and go to this part here, which is, I call it rough guide for map production. So instead of you trying to figure it out on your own, I tried here to give you sort of 1, 2, 3 procedure, which if you follow, you will end up with a good assignment. It's starting from opening the drawing, importing the points. So I think by now we can simply mark some of those. So we finished already number 1 where we open the file. Number 2, we have imported the points already into a new point group. Number 3, create a user point style. And I know that if I show you where we stopped the last class, in the last class, I think we did some line work here. However, when you think about electrical posts and trees, we've never changed the symbol so far. And you guys know how to do that. So the way we change the point style of water valve and electrical post and trees while they are within the same point group, I think this is something we discussed in details last class. You have to look at something called description key set. And for description key set, quickly I will remind you, you need to go to the settings, you need to go to point, and then go to description key set, and then finally you go to this file here and go ahead and edit the keys. I think in the last class we did a little bit of work over there where we created a total of 4 lines. Also, I need to remind you that simply for line features like roads and fences, or maybe area feature like building and lake, no need to create any line for them because at the end of the day, we're going to hide them. So you can see here, on my description key, I have one for water valve, one for tree, one for electrical post, and then a fourth one for all control points. The good news is Civil 3D has some uh, symbols or graphics that match my intention as presented on the legend for electrical post, for tree, for manhole. I'm sorry, this one. I'm sorry, this one is not right. This one is storm sewer manhole. So I will drop this menu and pick. There is a water valve here. So, and also something we kind of agree on about the labels for electrical post, and then for trees and water valve, no need to show any labels. And that's why I created here something called non-tahir. And non-tahir, it means it is not going to show any labels, because we're not supposed to do that. Think about it. We're not supposed to draw like show a symbol for the tree. Next to it, we should label as tree. It doesn't make sense. Next is, which is the only thing left for us to do, is control point. The problem is Civil 3D doesn't have a symbol for control point. And so that's why my job right now, I need to define one. Okay, and hopefully you guys remember that. So I'm gonna minimize this one for now, and I will try to create a symbol for control point. Do I have to draw this from scratch? Can I get some help? Do I have to draw the
Just
shape?
copy it from the legend.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Why? Because as I said, in general, if you need to come up with a new like a point style, then what you have to do is simply you need to build it and make a block out of it. And you can see it, the control point, when you look at the legend, the control point is there. So what I will do is I will simply copy it because I want to take it to my model space. So I'll copy with the base point, and then I will go to my model space, and anywhere you like, just go ahead and paste. So paste. So you can see here right now, I brought in my control point. So I don't have to draw from scratch because it's there for me. That's a waste of time. Now, next is, you know that the second step is to define a block. Before I do so, I'm asking you, do you think when I define a block, the block should include the circle? Yes or no?
Yes.
Should it include also the triangle?
Yes, pretty
Yes.
much everything.
Okay, so last question, which is very significant question. Do you think I should include C1 in the
No,
block definition?
probably
This
not.
is this is the tricky part. This is the tricky part, and some students that's what they do. Please do not include the C1 because in the legend it's trying to tell whenever you see the triangle and the circle, this is control point, and the name is just below. But if you include the C1 when you define a block, every control point will become a C1. That's something you don't want to happen. So please get rid of the C1, and the block will be just a circle and the triangle. Let's go ahead and define a block. Easy. So
Uh,
block,
Tahir,
uh-huh.
when I copy that legend from the title block, like I try to paste it on model space, but like I can't open it at the same time.
Did you? I mean, I'm not sure. Like maybe you choose a wrong baseline, but make sure when you copy this shape here from the title block, make sure that you copy with a base point, and it's same as I did. That there is no magic, huh? You're copying something in the CAD from the paper space or from the layout to the model space. And again, if you still have problem, it's as simple as come see me after the class, one in one, and it's easier for me to figure it out. Now, since I cannot see your screen, I cannot see what you're doing, it's very hard for me to answer these kind of questions. Okay, so just immediately after the class, I have time, I'm free. So by noon, just come and meet me one-on-one, and I will check what exactly you're doing. Okay, so we're ready now to create our block. So just type in B in your command line, and that's how you define a block. And watch this, please. I will give it a name. So I'm going to call this one CP, or maybe TB, like traverse point or control point. Or if you wish, maybe it's even better if you say traverse point. Okay, so again, it's a long name, but it's very descriptive, so there's no way for you to miss it. So my block will be, the name will be traverse point. Next is we choose the objects. So simply we have two objects. Once you're done with the selection, so then you hit enter on your keyboard. So you go back and you can see we have two objects selected. And you can see also here on the graphics next to the name, you have your triangle and also the circle. So great. Next is, don't forget, very important, don't forget to pick the base point. So we go ahead and click base point. And in this picture here, where exactly we select our point, this is, we simply say the center of this circle. This will be the base point of my block. Finally, make sure you make the behavior annotative and check the orientation to match the layout orientation. And then finally, we're ready. So a name, an object, a base point, annotative, hit OK. So you can see this guy. I don't need any more because I finished my block, so I need to get rid of it before I forget. So get rid of this guy. Now, let's go ahead and create our new point style. So what I will do, as I said, maybe there are some other ways to create a point style. However, this is how I do it. I go to point group. I pick the any point group. I take a right click and then go to properties. Now we can see this list now doesn't have any traverse point. So for example, I will choose basic to start with. I'll go here and I will say copy current selection. So I'm making my own copy of the point style. Then I will change it. First, before you forget, first, don't forget to change the name. So instead of saying basic copy, I will remove this name and I will make it clear. I will say traverse point. Okay, so that's the name. And next is need to change the marker where you come here and watch this. So I will simply not use the AutoCAD point marker or even one of those. However, always you have to be here. You have to check this button here where it enable this part, and you will see those are all the blocks in this drawing. It's as quick as place your cursor like so, and then hit T on your keyboard. Why T? Because remember, I called my block traverse point. So if I want to go quickly to traverse point, I hit T on my keyboard, and you can see we have test bit, and then also we have traverse point. Please confirm on the right on the preview that you do have the same symbol that you have defined, which is, look at this please, which is the circle and the triangle. Okay, and then what I will do is I will make sure that the size is, I think for now I'm going to start with 2.5 millimeter. Then if I need to change the size in the future because it's maybe super big or too small, then I can do it here. So this number here, it controls the size of the symbol. Now we are done. So I'm going to hit OK, and I will simply watch this, please. So if I hit OK right now, can anybody tell me what's going to happen? If I hit OK or apply right now, anybody can predict what's going to happen?
All your points will turn to the traverse.
Thank you so much. Because remember, I'm here, I'm in the point group properties, and I'm changing the point style globally to traverse the point. It is something I don't want to happen. So what you have to do after you have defined, then go back to basic and hit OK. This way, if you zoom out, you will see all my points are in still the basic. But if I go back to the same place one more time and I drop the menu, what do you see? Do you see my traverse points? Do you see my traverse points over there? So the point style has been created. However, I have never assigned it globally to my point group. Please mute yourself because there is kind of background noise. Just unmute yourself only if you want to ask questions, please. Okay, so now we're ready. Why we're ready? Because remember when I went to my my description key set. This one was never finished. You can see here I have C asterisk, and is left as default. And then now and only now I can click here and drop this menu, and you can see my traverse point is over there. Traverse point. Hit OK. And finally hit OK. And you can see I'm ready because I'm asking the software for any time we'll find a point with a start with C followed by anything, change to traverse point, and then leave description only. The reason why for control point we leave description only, because I want to see on my map the symbol of the triangle with the circle together with the name of the point which is under description. Now let's see what happens if I apply the description key set. Okay, so what you have to do, as I said before, either you close it or minimize it. It doesn't matter. But remember that description key set don't apply themselves by automatically. You as a user will have to apply them to one specific point group. Watch this, please. So next step is after you finish and you're sure that your point, your description key set is what you need. Next is you go to tool space, but remember this time not on the setting. This time you go to prospector. Then next is you simply click on the point group, then right click and say apply description key set. Everyone need to remember that description key set is a two-step process. You create the rules in one step, and then you apply the rules in step number 2. Watch this, please. So I applied my description key set. And it's nice, beautiful. Look at this. So we have points with trees, and you can see trees. Simply, we have trees. That's for tree. And also, we have electrical post. And we have control point is here. Look at this, control point is here. So looks like I've done it, but there is few glitches, There are few glitches which I will show you. You can see water valve is here. So what are the glitches? Number one, look at this. So the control point, yes, it is a triangle with a circle. However, the description of the point, which is C3 for this point, and this one is C2, and this one is C1, and so on. It's not really follow 100% my legend. Look at this, please. So again, if you wanna make it exact like your legend, here is how it's supposed to be. And is that something I can do? Like moving the text from the right to the bottom, and I change the style of the font. What do you think? Is that something I can do? I think you can. If you understand, you can. What I will do is I'm gonna do a list here, and I will see what is the font height, font file. So you can see here the font file is italic T, and that's what I will do. Please watch me as I do the change. So it's as simple as I will need to go back to here to the properties, and right now the description only, or description, I make it description small. It doesn't really do what I like, so I'm going to go ahead and simply edit the style. And I will tell you what should I do when I edit the style. Number one, when it comes to the full description, you can see it is here, it is full description. I will take a click on this guy and simply delete. That's number one. And then number two, I will go to the format. I will drop the font and I will make it italic. So type in I and then look at italic T, which is here. This is called the italic T. And then go to the properties. And then once I'm happy with all those combination, I will simply copy. And once you copy everything, you hit OK. And so right now, look at the preview. So the preview, you can see the font has changed. However, the location is still the same, which is not really great. Can you check here and see anything that allows you to change the where the text is? What do you think? Can you guess what should I play with here so I can get things, my text is below? I think if you look deeply, you will see there is something called the attachment. I will make it bottom center, so that's one thing. And then you can see here, I can also play with the offset. So I can make the offset, let's say, -5. And then see, it's kind of trial and error until you get things in place. So I'm going to probably go with -2. And again, you can come back here as change as many times as you wish to get things right. So you can see right now in the preview, my text is below and it's centered below the marker. Now time to hit OK, and time also to hit OK here. And let's go and see. Oh, sorry. Why is that? Because simply I can tell you why. You can see nothing has changed here because simply when you go to description key and go to the edit style, look at this. Are we using description only or description small? That's the tricky part, huh? You can see, look at the style. I'm using description only for control point, while the one I just changed is description small. So if you drop this menu here, you can see there's something called description only and description small. I can hit OK, and now I can close this one, and then finally apply it for the last time, I guess. And you can see, looks like we're almost there. My text is nice with this new font. It's kind of shifted very much below the point. So this will take me a final tweak, which is go to the point style, one more time, point label style, and do a final tweak on this one. And looks like -5 was too much. I will just go ahead and do -3. And let's see what happens. Hit OK, hit apply, and then apply OK. You can see we're very close. Okay. So this is how you tweak things up. Okay. Now, you guys can imagine, am I done here? Like, I know that you need to do more effort because I haven't finished all the line work. If I have time in class, I will go ahead, for example, and start connecting the fence points together, right? I will start connecting the fence point together, and like so, like so, like so, like so, like so, and this will create my fence, and I will do a match properties. In class here, I don't have time to draw everything for you. However, in your assignment, you yourself will continue and finish all the line work. Really, I want to close this part here. Now, once you finish all the line work, my question, which I find every year, do you think I still need to show everything here? I'm asking you, let's assume that Tahir has time and did all the line work. It means connected all the roads and fence. My question for you is, should I leave these points together with their description on, or should I hide them?
Hide them.
Hide them. And again, I know some of you will ask me, how can I hide them? For sure, there are two ways. You can go and create in your description key set a rule for them, and make make the point style and point label style as none. However, I can tell you, I'm asking you, if I go here right now and I go to the properties and I change those to none and none, can anybody help me tell me what's going to happen? Now I go to the properties of the point group and I change both of them to none. Can anybody tell me what's going to happen? Let's
Everything
see.
can
It
disappear.
will accept.
Look at this, please. So if I hit OK right now, you can see those points are gone. And the reason why they are gone and the other points, they are still there. For example, look at the control point, look at the electrical post, or look at the tree. They are still there. Why those points they are gone? Because simply there was no rule for them. So they still follow the global properties of the point group. Okay. Now, now what we have to do is, let's say that you already finished all the line work, so your drawing is complete, and let's take a look at the what they call it, the layout. One thing you will notice is that You see something here, probably is very clear. I'm gonna zoom in here. Do you see a little issue, a little small issue, not big issue? Do you see the issue here? Look at the control point and look at the control point. So yes, they follow the same shape. Everything looks the same with a little exception. So what is the little exception?
Numbers.
No, I mean numbers is normal because simply this is C2. So I don't see C2 as an issue. Because remember, if I get C2 here, somewhere there's C2, huh? For example, here, or this is C4. C2 is here.
Is it small?
Okay, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. The size of your symbol doesn't match, really doesn't match the size on the legend, and it's a very easy fix. Very, very easy fix. You guys remember when I defined the size of my control point? This was here. So if you go here very quickly in a second, if you go to the properties, and if you take your traverse point, and if you go and edit the style, remember this number simply was the size of your control point. So it looks like this size was so small. So all you have to do is, you know what? I can give you maybe I can do it like by trial and error by going here and, for example, change this one to 5. 5 means it is twice as big. It was. So which means after I apply my change, then what happens here is this guy will become twice as it was. And then let's see. So I'm going to hit OK. And I'll go back to none and then hit OK. And what do you think right now? Maybe some of you will tell me, you know what? Not really. This guy becomes super bigger than this guy. If you want to do it very precisely, that's always fine. What you have to do is you have to do a quick measurement. For example, measure this guy using distance. You measure the sides of this guy here from this point to this point. Write the measurement and also do the same thing here, and you will come up with a ratio. For example, right now, this one is measures 4.441, and I can repeat the measurement here. So distance, I can measure it from this point here. I can measure it. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact. So you just go measure from here to here, and this give you 5.87. You know what? The ratio is there. If you divide 4.4 divide by 5.87, you will know how much you want to adjust your size. For example, I can do it right now. So calculator, I can say 4.44 divided 5.87. So I'll get roughly a 75%. And if I multiply this by 5 millimeter, so I need 3.8. So now you know the number, huh? I can go now to the properties, and I can go to the style traverse point, and I edit the style, and I change this guy 5 millimeter to 3.8. And now, and only now, they will 100% match. Watch this right now, both of them, the 100% match. Again, there's a few glitches here, which is, how about the text? So you can see this text is super big, while this one is so small. You guys can do that. You can simply change the style of italic C, and this will simply match the height. Okay, now you can see you have to do the same thing for the electrical post. So it looks like electrical post is bigger than the electrical post on the legend. So probably you need to tweak this a little bit and change it a little bit to size it down. There's not much, trust me. After you master this, it's going to take you a few seconds to do that. Now, I need to stop here because we're almost there, but there are a few things I need to discuss with you. So I will switch right now to a little presentation, which is available on your D2L. And this presentation is about a very important topic, which is the topographic map elements. So here is my presentation, which the start is here. First of all, what does it mean, topographic map? And on topographic map, there are essential elements We need to understand what are those, because we simply have to add them to my map. Let's start here. So number one is, what is a topographic map? A topographic map, in simple definition, it is simply a copy and paste of the reality on a piece of paper with a scale. When we talk about, and what we're trying to do is, we're trying to copy all the features on site and put them on a piece of paper. Those features on site, they can be natural feature, like for example, like rivers and lakes and other natural formations, or it can be a man-made like a road and building and so on and so forth. Bottom line is, anything that exists on site, we need to survey, we need to locate these points, and then place these points on a piece of paper. And remember, topographic map, I can tell you, you cannot build any project. When I say any, I mean any. You cannot design a road, you cannot design a house, you cannot build any uh, project without a map. Because simply this map, once you are able to simulate the reality and in a computer model or maybe on a piece of paper, you can pass it over to the designer, who can be a highway engineer or can be an architect, where they can use all their knowledge to come up with the best design for one project. Remember, if your map is missing some of the features on site, so by mistake, for example, we totally forget to survey one electrical post or one tree, do you think this is okay? Like if we miss one of those elements on site, there could be a disaster, by the way, because think about it. What if my architect or my designer finished the design based on the map, which is missing some of the features, and then time now to build the structure, and then all of a sudden, here we go, there is a tree or there is electrical post. So tree is easy. We can simply remove the tree. But there are some other things, sometimes it is disaster. You need to imagine that topographic map must carry and copy everything from the site. Now, here is the thing. I'm asking you, you think the features that we survey on site, so I did 8 hours of survey today, and I collected XYZ and haven't done any mistake. I simply able to survey everything on site. And then I went to my Civil 3D, I pasted my points, and I came up with a map. So I have road and I have building. I'm asking you, do you think right now, while we can see only the features, can this be classified and qualified as a map? The answer is no. So map is not just just locations and connected together. There are some important elements that they must show on the map. Okay, so I'll go one by one. So here is a list of all the elements that must. It's not a choice. It's a must. You must show them on your map, including title, scale, north arrow, legend, and date. And I will go one by one, and I will try to show you the importance of showing them, because remember, when I convince you and we're ready, we're going to go ahead and add those to our map. So let's start here. So number one, we need to show the scale. The scale. And remember that, as I said initially, I said the map is a piece of paper that contains all the features on site. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a piece of paper that has the same size of the site. So we cannot do one-to-one. We cannot. Our paper, it can be an A3 or A4 or A0. It has limited size. And that's why, as we copy things from the reality to the map, we must scale things down. And so once we create our map, and if we provide someone with a map as a piece of paper and we don't say anything about the scale, what do you think? Can you guys imagine if I gave you a piece of paper and I never mentioned anything about the scale? I gave you a piece of paper. Yes, it contains all the building and all the roads. However, I simply hide the scale or simply erase it. What do you think? Can you tell me what's the problem? You have a piece of paper. Yes, it's correct. Yes, it's precise. However, there is no scale mentioned. Any help? Like, can you tell me what's the problem if I have no scale? How can you extract information? Like, let's say if I ask you what is the width of the road or what is the length of the building, such information cannot be obtained without having a scale. So you can see the scale is a must. We must add a scale on our map. And I know some of you will tell me, oh, Tahir, wait. We are in 2021 and, we draw everything on a CAD. I'm asking you, do we draw things on a CAD with a scale?
Yes.
Are you sure? We, like, for example, on on AutoCAD file, should I scale things down or up or just draw 1:1?
1:1.
1:1. So that, yes, that's true. That on CAD, if I measure 3, it's a 3 meter. If I measure 5, it's 5 meter. So in CAD itself, it has no scale because it's 1:1. It's exactly like the reality. We only need a scale when we print our map into a piece of paper. And I can tell you, although everyone is pushing so hard these days and even started years ago to go completely into digital life where everything is in AutoCAD, I can tell you maps are still used and it will stay there for some time. Until this moment where we have no paper map, then I have to still teach you the meaning of scale and I can still say that scale is very important. If all the paper maps disappear and now everyone has their own laptop and use their own CAD system to measure distances, only this time I can say no need for scale. Are you guys following? Okay, so I need to just quickly to refresh your memory about the scale because I know that even second year CVT, some of them, some of you, you have a trouble with understanding the meaning of scale. The scale has, it's unitless. The scale is unitless. It means the scale has no units because simply it's a ratio. It's a ratio between the distance on the paper to the same distance on site. For example, I can say 1 to 20,000, 1 to 50,000, 1 to 100,000. This means a 1 unit, and I say unit, I don't say meter or millimeter or feet, or doesn't matter. 1 unit on my map simply represents a 20,000 units on site. Okay, and I can, let's say, put it this way: when I say 1 unit on the map represents 20,000 units on site, I can say, what if this unit is centimeter? It means 1 centimeter on my map represents 20,000 centimeter on site. And if you want 20,000 centimeter, it's, we can always make it in meter. So the 20,000 centimeter is simply 200 meter. So you can say that when we say a map with a scale 1 to 20,000, this means if I measure 1 centimeter on my map, this corresponds to 200 meter on site. Now, you can see what you see right now is something called numerical scale. So that when we say 1 to 20,000 or 1 to 50,000 or 1 to 100,000, this is called numerical scale. And the problem with the numerical scale is it needs a calculator. So every time you measure a distance on your map, you need to multiply the distance by the inverse of the scale. So for example, if I measure 2 centimeter, I need to multiply 2 centimeters times 20,000. So first of all, needs a calculator. Number two, there is a little problem called shrinkage and expansion of paper maps. You guys need to imagine that if I print a map today in 2021 and I store this map in my office and I store it for maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years, there is a fact which is after 5 years, the map will have some instability because of the temperature and humidity. It will maybe shrink or expand. This is a serious problem because I can show you what is the problem. If you use a map and we only use numerical scale, when the distance shrink on the map, you will multiply by the same scale. It means the distance you calculate is different from the distance that was originally measured. I'm not sure if you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say. For example, if I measure a distance today and I plot it on a map with a given scale, Then after 10 years, when this dimension on the map changes, the change is only on the map, not on real life. Then what I will do is I will measure the new dimension after the change, whether expanded or shrunk. Then I will go ahead and multiply by the numerical scale. You will see, you will get a different distance while the reality never change. So the numerical scale, as I said, you have two issues. Number one, you must use a calculator. Number two, you have a problem because the map may shrink or expand with the time. So people, they discovered this issue long time ago, and they came up with a new scale. And simply what you see on my screen is the solution for this problem. So instead of them writing on the map just the number 1 to 2000 or 1 to 100, what they do is they draw a ruler, the scale itself on the piece of paper. So this solves the entire problem because even the map shrinks, the ruler or the scale will shrink by the same amount. And guess what? This completely eliminates the problem. So bottom line is graphical scale, number one, they fix the problem of shrinking and expansion of maps. Number two, the numbers are shown on the scale, on the graphical scale, simply are straight in meters. It means they tell you the distance on site right away. You don't have to use any calculator. Okay? So if you want to measure any distance, you want to bring like a divider, and you place the divider onto the map, and then you place the divider onto the graphical scale, and right away you can read the distance as 25 meter or 50 meter or maybe 125 meter. Okay, and this is what's called graphical scale. Now let's move on to the north arrow. So on every map you must show the north arrow. It's a must, not a choice. So you can see here on my slide, north arrow can take any of those graphics, and I will show you after the break that Civil 3D has all those graphics, like a library where you can choose among, okay? So we can add one of those arrows. Need to expand the discussion a little bit. The north direction is not as simple as you think, because simply north direction can be one of three types. I know that you have some idea about this discussion. The north can be either local, it is Tahir North, it's my north, I can assume it anywhere I like. Remember, that's exactly what you have done last year. In the first year surveying, when you did your traverse, you have chosen the first side of your traverse as your north. So this north here is not connected to anything. That is your choice. And that's why it's called the local north or arbitrary north. There are some other type of north called the magnetic north. And the magnetic north, it's simply a direction on the horizontal measured by the compass. So if you hang a needle free, it will take the north-south because Earth has a magnetic field. So the needle will simply take the north-south direction. But this north called the magnetic north, and this north is affected by local gravity. So if you have for example, a power line close by, or you have like oil and gas close by, you will see this north, it will deviate from the true north. The last one is fixed. It's called true north, or we call it geographic north. This one is the direction pointing to the North Pole at any point. So if you stand at any point, let's say in Calgary here, there is one direction towards to the North Pole, and this one is constant. This one is called true north, and magnetic north. If there is no local gravity, it's supposed to go to the North Pole as well. However, because of the local gravity, you will see between the true north and the magnetic north, there is an angle, and this angle called angle of declination. Now, I'm going to show you here. So this is a world map, and the world map, it has some contour lines. So what you see here, some contour lines. What do you think? Those contour lines are elevations, like they show elevations? By the way, so you know, we have a discussion about contour lines probably end of this class or next class. Contour lines are lines connecting points of the same thing, of the same property. So this one you see right now is not really a contour map that shows you the heights of the points. No, this is a contour map for angle of declination. So you can see there are some areas on the Earth that they don't have a local gravity. And once you see the zero, and I think the zero is the green, huh? So this line, the green line, is the zero. It means probably somewhere in Morocco or Algeria, or maybe we have here east of Canada, or maybe there are some area in I think Brazil. So what happens? Those areas, they have zero declination. What does it mean? It means if you hold a magnetic needle, it will point to the true or the geographic north. Anywhere else, there is an angle in between, and sometimes the angle is significant. I think if you take a look, sometimes it can be even 30 degrees. You know what that means, 30 degrees? It means your compass will point to one direction. However, the true north or the north pole is a 30 degrees from that direction. Okay. So next is I mean, we talked about scale. We talked about the north direction. Now time to talk about legend. I think you probably by now you understand the importance of legend. What if I gave you a map that shows electrical posts and shows trees and shows all those features, but there is no legend? Some of them, they are intuitive, so you can look at the tree because the symbol looks like a tree, so you right away will understand it means it's a tree. But doesn't apply for everything because you will see. So to solve this puzzle, we simply have to create a legend. And the legend is simply a fantastic invention because simply you don't have to go and label every single tree with a text tree. Otherwise, your map will be messy and it will have enormous amount of text. So it's not really legible. Okay? So legend is a must. Finally, the date. The date. So the date is very important, and probably some of you will question why the date is very important. Why I should write the date on every single map. The reason is the reality is dynamic. So you can see we're all every day we're building things and demolishing things, which means the features on site that you survey in 2021, if you come back after 100 years, simply it will be different. And I can tell you, I myself have seen a map for Calgary. Calgary, but this map was 100 years ago. Do you know what was Calgary 100 years ago? Anybody have seen this map or know an idea of what Calgary was 100 years ago? Calgary 100 years ago was only a few houses around the river in downtown, and that's it. No other places, okay? So in 100 years, we're able to build Calgary the way it is right now, and it's like a 50 or 60 kilometer by 60 kilometer. So you can see the reality is very dynamic. And because of this reason, we must show the date of the map on the map. So every designer can look at the map. When they look at the map and the map is created a year ago, then probably we know that nothing has changed from this year. However, if you are using a map and the map is, let's say, 10 years ago, and this map is for area which is very dynamic, then you question whether the map is dated or outdated. Now, I wanted to prove this for you. So what I did is I simply took an example for the south of Calgary. South of Calgary. So I'm not sure if you guys can identify this area of Calgary. Yeah? So this is 22x. If you look at my cursor, this is 22x. And this line here is McLeod Trail. And this line here, this road here is simply Deerfoot. They are labeled over there. Huh? And if you go somewhere in the south, they will meet going to Okotoks. And you can see the south of Calgary has seen a lot of change over the last probably 10 or 15 years. And what I did is I simply I'm showing you here on different dates. So the date is simply on the top left. Top left. So this was this map here, or this satellite image was taken on July 24th, 2002. The date is on the top left. And then if you keep going, the next one is in 2005, July 30th. There is another picture. and then or satellite image, and then next is, so this is in 2011. It is August 2011, and then I think I have a last one. This is 2015, and this was September 16, 2015, and the last one I think is 2020. So this one is August 4, 2020. And I know it's very hard to see the difference, and that's why I created a final slide that has everything, so side by side. Please take a moment and see what happens in the south of Calgary within the last probably 20 years or 18 years. You will see significant change in the last 18 years. And that's why hopefully I'm able to prove for you that our Earth is dynamics, and it's very important to show the date of the map. By the way, so you know, this is available from Google Earth. So if you are able to download Google Earth, you have a slide bar which you can simply drag it back and forth to see what happens over the period of probably 20 years. Okay, and so this concludes our presentation, and I think it's good time for a break right now. After the break, I will show you how to add these elements to your map. We'll see you guys in 10 minutes.